Houston, we have a problem. So as you all know, Capital Supremacy released yesterday to the world on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, but unfortunately it did not release without some hiccups, at least for some people that are experiencing what is known as the spawning bug in Capital Supremacy, which is basically preventing them from playing the game because it just prevents them from spawning into the game. Now, DICE has responded about this. We're going to take a look at the response and see what they're going to do about this problem. And leave a comment down below. Let me know, are you experiencing this spawning issue in Capital Supremacy? Let me know if you are, what console you're on, and if you're also experiencing any disconnects as well. Now, me personally, I do have footage of me on the PS4 as of last night. And you can see here, I experienced the spawn bug all night last night. I couldn't even get to a match of Capital Supremacy. And as you can see, I was just stuck on the spawn screen. And everyone in the game was also, unfortunately, stuck in the spawn screen as well. And again, I could not get into a single game last night on the PS4. Now, today I did have better luck. I was able to get into a game of Capital Supremacy on the PS4, but I did experience some disconnects. Now, with the PC, I've also experienced some disconnects on the PC. However, I have not personally experienced the spawn bug on the PC, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But again, if you're experiencing this bug, let me know in the comments. But let's take a look at what DICE had to say about this spawn bug error. So this is what they said in their message today. So they said, work is also continuing on the issue where you find yourself in a stuck state while playing Capital Supremacy. We have narrowed down the cause and are currently working on a fix. So they are officially working on a fix, and I'm hoping that they get this hotfix out this week. You know, this is something that is very serious, and, you know, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, but let's take a look at this as well. So the community manager also said this: getting a fix verified, tested, and pushed through first-party submissions and released within a few hours is not something we're able to do, I'm afraid. We are working as fast as possible on this, but we need to make sure we don't rush a fix out. We've seen what happens in that situation. And I do understand where they're coming from there, from that perspective. It's too bad they couldn't get the fix out like last night within a couple hours, but at least they're, you know, explaining why that is. But I do have some opinions on this whole thing. In my opinion, you know, this should not have happened in the first place, of course, because there should have been at least some type of quality assurance testing or something like that to prevent this situation from happening in the first place. Also, maybe a beta for the new game mode would have been a good idea to test out the bugs and iron out all of the issues before doing the actual release of Capital Supremacy. After all, it's a huge game mode. It's quite complicated, you know, with the boarding of capital ships. It's got all of the flags there. It's got AI. So, you know, with this new game mode, you know, DICE probably knew there could be potential problems. So it would have been wise for them to do a beta, because that way, if they would have run into bugs as big as this one, they would have said, hey, it is a beta. We're working on this. This will not be in the final release. So, you know, again, what do you think? Do you think DICE should have done a beta for Capital Supremacy first? Let me know in the comments. And plus, you know, another thing about the beta is it kind of spreads the word pre-release about the new mode, and then also lets people know, hey, this might have bugs. Just so you're aware, this is going to be a beta, and, you know, lets them be aware of the fact that this is not, you know, the final release. So that way, they anticipate possible bugs in the beta. Now, with this happening, you know, no one was anticipating bugs. They want it to be working. They're expecting the full release of the new game mode to be working as it should be. So again, I think a beta, or at least quality assurance testing behind the scenes, would have been the wise way to go with this one, of course. Now, let me know, again, if you are having problems. Post if you are. Let me know what platform you're on. And as soon as a fix or hotfix is released, I'll let you guys know. And as soon as we get a solid release date, I'll let you know. Now, I did ask out on Twitter. I did not get a response publicly as of yet on an exact release date out on Twitter. So I'm guessing the team over there at DICE are currently, working out a release date for the hotfix, which hopefully, again, is this week. Now, this afternoon, they did roll out changes to Capital Supremacy game mode. So if you are lucky and you are able to play the Capital Supremacy game mode, which there are still a lot of people who are able to play it, they did roll out the following changes. So they said, we've got some tweaks going live this afternoon to Capital Supremacy. We decreased the time to board the transport ship from 60 to 45 seconds. Boarding the transport will now award 3 reinforcements up from 2, and corrected battle point cost for the battle for the B2 droids, and then they increased heroes from 2 to 4. So those changes were rolled out this afternoon. Now also, he mentioned that no download or maintenance is required for this change. We're still working on some issues that you're experiencing, including the unable to spawn issue. So he mentioned that again. But yeah, you don't have to do any download today for these updates. So you don't have to do any downloads for these updates. But from what I understand, the hotfix for the spawn issue, that will be a client-side update, meaning that you will have to download the hotfix when that releases. So hopefully, again, that's sooner than later. And as soon as we find out a release date for the hotfix again, we will let you know. Now, let's move on to Anakin Skywalker here. So Anakin Skywalker, as you know, as you probably already know, is way too OP, at least in my experience on Capital Supremacy. Like, every time I've played Capital Supremacy so far on the PC, he just completely dominates, and there's no way to really counter him effectively. He's just way too powerful, and I think DICE is aware of this. A lot of the community is complaining about how OP he is, and the community manager responded about this and said, some balance changes for Anakin are on the way, currently being tested. So, of course, balance changes most likely means a bunch of nerfs for Anakin. Hopefully not too much nerfing, of course. We don't want him to be too weak, but I think he's way too OP. What do you guys think? Let me know. Do you think Anakin Skywalker is way too OP? I do. So I'm glad to see that they are balancing him out. Now, there's also some changes coming up to the Commando Droid. So Forge also said, looking into the Commando Droid, especially his weapon. So they are looking into, it looks like, buffing his weapon because it seriously needs a buff. Like, when I play with the Commando Droid, his primary weapon feels very weak right now. Now, his Vibro Sword is freaking awesome. I absolutely love his Vibro Sword. He's one of my favorite reinforcements in the entire game because of that Vibro Sword. But his primary weapon is just too weak, especially if you compare it to the ARC Trooper, who, of course, dual wields those pistols. And speaking of the ARC Trooper, personally on the PC, I find it a little bit awkward to shoot with both the left click and the right click all at once. I think it'd be cool to see if they would, maybe update this or have an option where you can bind the, both pistols to the left mouse click, so you don't have to go back and forth between, right clicking and left clicking. I'm not sure if any of you agree with that, but on the PC for me, it's kind of awkward and it makes my aim a little bit off when I'm left clicking, right clicking, left clicking, right clicking all at once. It just feels awkward to me. So I think it'd be cool to see an option for the dual wielding pistols where you can bind both pistols onto one, left click of the mouse. So I don't know if they'll ever do that, but DICE, if you're listening, that'd be awesome to see. Now, also, there was a comment about offline content. So Mr. Thumposaurus said, I've noticed a lot of people asking about offline play. Are these comments being noted? And Forge responded, said, noted, yes, but nothing we can share right now. So hopefully that means we're getting something offline in the future. I personally would love to see the entire Capital Supremacy game mode offline. That's what I think they should do. They already have some AI programmed in there. I think they just need to take it a step further and just, add the rest of the AI and program that in there and then just add it to the arcade mode. I'd love to see that. So hopefully it happens. Fingers crossed. Now, concerning upcoming content, Jay, the community manager, said, glad to hear it. I can't wait for you to see what else is coming. So, again, we're keeping our eyes peeled for anything possible in April. I'm really hoping for an additional map in April for Capital Supremacy, the roadmap in April as well. We will be getting the community calendar for April. That will be coming in early April. At least that's the scheduled time frame now for the April community calendar. So we'll be keeping our eyes peeled for that as well. Could come in the second week of April, but we'll see what happens with that. But regardless, I'm super excited for the stuff coming up, after March is done. I can't wait to see what they have planned for us, and hopefully it includes new heroes like Ahsoka and Ventress, maybe Mace Windu, maybe, Captain Rex with dual wielding, Cad Bane with dual wielding, especially since they have the dual wielding technology in place in the game. That'd be so cool to see. I would love to see new maps like Mustafar, Coruscant, Utapau, stuff like that. I would love to see the existing maps like Kamino, Kashyyyk, and Theed implemented into Capital Supremacy as well. So there's a lot of stuff they could do with Battlefront 2 throughout 2019. The question is, when and how and what and why? I hope you got that reference. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time. Be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications for all details on Battlefront 2. I will see you next time, and may the Force be with you always.